Every choice that you make, now this is very, very important to understand this. Every choice that you make is going to impact the next generations. You have generational impact. No thought is harmless. No attitude can be hidden. An attitude is the thoughts that with the emotions attached. So every thought that you think has generational impact. Not only is the thought that you are thinking at this moment changing the structure of your own brain, but it is going to impact those that you're in relationship with and the next 4 generations and the next 4 and the next 4 and the next 4. So we need to be very responsible for the thoughts, because what research is showing us is that when we keep toxic thoughts inside of our brain, that bitterness and that unforgiveness and that jealousy and that anger and that frustration and that constant whatever, when you keep that, not only are you damaging your own brain, but that's going to pass through the generations. And as you do that, you are then impacting and changing the nature, listen to this, of your genes. So your genes contain the material for you, for every cell of your body contains your entire genome. And that passes through to the next generations. So that the good, the bad, and the ugly pass through. So in other words, you are actually affecting the way that the genes form, and it's called mutations. As they express, they mutate. Now mutations, we always think that's a bad word. Your genes have to mutate, it means change, but you can have an incorrect mutation. And what research is showing us is that when we think incorrectly, when we step out of our perfect you nature, our wired for love nature, our made in God's image nature, our divine sense of purpose nature, we actually step into this zone and the proteins fold incorrectly from genetic expression and we mutate the genes. So what comes through the generations is a mutation, and these mutations collectively over history and over time will produce disease. So disease is not from the enemy. The enemy was stripped of all power. Just reminding you, read your Bible if you don't believe me, okay? So the enemy was stripped of all power, and when Jesus rose from the dead, we know the story, okay? So we know that the enemy has no power. We have a love, power, and a sound mind. When we make wrong decisions, we are building evil into our brains, and we are producing evil, and it's changing the physical nature of man, and it produces disease. Where does disease come from? Our decision making. That is a powerful responsibility. And over the generations. Now you might say, but my child's born with this, or my child's got Down syndrome, or whatever. What did they do wrong? No, they didn't do anything wrong. They came into this world with a history attached. Okay, and therefore we have this thing that's passing through the generations, and we have to deal with the fact that there are consequences right from the beginning of time. When God designed us able to think, feel, and choose in His image, He designed us as brilliant human beings able to make choices. Free will is not an illusion. Free will is a very, very powerful commodity. And what are we doing with our free will? Because every time you choose, you build. And every time you build, you're changing genes. And every time you change your genes, you're going to produce words and actions.